What's up, guys? It's the Essential John L. Crossfire.
And I am Nova Lee.
And you guys are tuned into Caught
In Conversation.
Shaka-laka-laka. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 159 of Caught in Conversation. Meet me at the top. I am the Essential John L. Crossfire.
And I am Nova Lee.
And just as a little fun fact, just to derail this episode, literally as soon as it starts, once I get a capture card, my streams will actually have that as a soundbar. It's all set up in OBS. There's even a Nova Lee emote on my channel. But yeah, that's just a little fun fact. Before we get into this very exciting episode, Nova, there is just a couple of housekeeping things that we need to address. The first up is a health update. Since our last episode, because we unfortunately missed a week just because life got hectic and everything in between, after 1,035 days, Nova, a lot of people saw it on social media, a few people watched the vlog, I had 8 stitches remaining in my eye. 7 of them came out, but on a technicality it was all of them, because the one that is left in my eye is just floating around doing fucking nothing but annoying me. So, with that being said, the timetable for the stitches coming out was meant to be December of this year, 2025.
Yeah, it's pretty
as we
solid.
record this.
They took them all.
Unfortunately, there is a cataract forming. It was starting to form over the stitches, so they had to take it out before it basically, covered them so they couldn't get to them. But a cataract is it's a fairly simple procedure in this day and age. So, it's a nuisance, it's annoying. But for all intents and purposes, all the stitches are out. And considering they were in way longer than they originally were meant to, anyway, almost 3 years, that's fucking ridiculous. And when I tell people that, they look at me like I'm bullshitting them, because how does a man have stitches in their actual eyeball for that long without them dissolving? Well, I don't know, but I did. But they're out, Nova. They are out.
Yeah.
So although it's obviously much, much longer than obviously both of us would prefer, it'll also, in the grand scheme of things, for the time frame we were given, they actually came out much, much earlier than expected overall, after all the bits and bobs and the rejection from the transplant and everything else. But yeah, after 1,035 days, even though there's still one in there, I'm going to chalk it to 1,035, because that one stitch ain't doing jack shit. The stitches are out of my eye. Happy days. And now, without going too much of a rant, Nova, we look towards your health stuff and me being your carer while you recover in the next couple of months after surgery, and etc., possibly maybe have to miss a few episodes of the pod here and there. Knock on wood, I can get some things out, but the pod may go on hiatus in the next couple of months. But also, before we get into this exciting episode, there has been a date change, a very important date change that I want to get over, that I want to stress. November 1st has been changed to October 11th. It's been pushed forward almost a full month, just to reasons out of all of our control. If you know, you know. It's been changed. The Emma Butler Memorial Show for 2025, the third Emma Butler Memorial Show. Remember, we have raised over $4,000 with the 2 shows combined, and beyond that, because people have just donated to the charity directly outside of wrestling as well. And we have saved a handful of lives already with the scopes and stuff that have been donated with these, including the local area of Central West, where the show is taking place in Cowra. Very, very just amazing news, but very exciting news. And man, I don't know how to feel. Like, I was going into this show worried because, Big James and Barry Blake and Rex went on a tear last show, and I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to defend myself, and not to stir the pot or anything, Nova Lee, but the stitches are out of my eyeball now, so I don't really have to worry about bursting one of those. So
see what happens, I guess.
See what happens. All I know is that I have been known to lay down the law in Cowra once or twice, and maybe, just maybe, 6 months is enough preparation time. I ain't saying, I'm just saying. But with that, Nova Lee, this episode, I'm a little ticked off that we had to miss last week. Because this week, if we went by the calendar, should have been episode 160, and it would have been so fitting that a milestone episode, because it's a round number. But we're here. We've just ticked off the last state/territory that we had on the list for Caught in Conversation. And obviously, I would very much like to get Harry and Barry back on this in the future.
Definitely. It was
whether
a fun
together
episode.
again or
Good chat.
depending on how their show on April 26th goes, it may have to be separate, or at least in a separate room.
Well, it was starting to fight towards the end there, so I'm like, ooh, maybe.
I may have stirred the pot with the last question, but you'll have to leave that. But I'm very excited for this. But Novalee, obviously, you've got the song of the week. You've got the match of the week.
Do.
I think we do that. I think we get on and on, because this... I don't want to drag this conversation out. It was an hour of pure fun.
Yes.
Really enjoyed it. We say it every fucking week, Nova, but
we just
please
love
come
the
back.
guests that we
Thank
have
you
on.
for
It
coming
was so
on.
good.
It was... I just
having you guys
enjoyed
on.
marking out. There's a reason that one of the mottos is for the marks, by the marks. That's what we are, and I appreciate all of our guests just indulging that for us for an hour or so at a time. But what's the song of the match of the week for this week, Novalee?
Alrighty, so your song of the week for episode 159 is On Top of the World by Imagine Dragons, and your match of the week for episode 159 is The Hardys versus the Dudleys versus Edge and Christian at TLC 1 SummerSlam 2000.
That is nuts to think that in August of this year, the 25th anniversary...
25 years. That is wild.
You know what, Nova? I don't want to just put words in your mouth while we're recording here, but that may be worth a watch along at some point, just to see how it holds up 25, because we all know it holds up 25 years later. There's a reason we might, as we said, WrestleMania 16 earlier that year, the triple it was technically a triple threat ladder match, but they brought in the tables, they brought in the chairs, it turned into this, and then obviously the following WrestleMania 17, TLC 2, which is regarded as one of the most entertaining wrestling matches of all time. We gotta watch this. Should we do a whole watch along of all three in the one episode?
Maybe. That'd actually be really
Because
cool.
up to this point, we've done TLC 2. We've now done TLC 1. I don't think we've actually done that triple threat or the triangle ladder match, as they were calling it. So that could just be the match of the week for that episode, but we watched them all in order. That's a solid, 20-ish minutes each. That's an hour-long episode.
Yeah. No, that'd be cool. We
Are
could do that.
we fantasy booking right now for August of this year?
Let's do it.
Fucking let's go. All right. Boom.
Alrighty.
Should be healed by then.
So, why did we pick this match?
Well, the Harry Bros. My God, I'm all jacked up on caffeine.
Ooh, don't let Barry hear you say that.
Barry! I'll get back to you, Barry. Shout out if you remember that fucking classic Yogo
So good.
Harry and Barry and Harry, the Starr Bros. They said there's about a 6 going on 7-year age gap between them. Very reminiscent of the Hardy Boys. Growing up, they were very big fans of the Hardy Boys. They basically wanted to live their Hardy Boy dream, basically. And spoiler alert when it comes to the question about some of the dream opponents, the Hardy Boys are thrown in amongst some of the big names that they throw out there. But, just how can you not? How can you not go with this match?
Yes. I'm shocked we haven't done it already, to be honest with you.
There is literally, hundreds of thousands of wrestling matches that have happened in all of space and time. So, I get that there's a lot it's going to miss out. But then there's ones like this that are almost so obvious. It's just, when I got the list, right? And if there's a stipulation in the match, I'll always put the stipulation beside it just because that's just how my brain works. So I typed in the letters TLC. I couldn't find anything. I typed in the word SummerSlam just to make sure that I hadn't, put it in wrong or whatever. Still didn't find it. So, yeah, we've got this. TLC 2 I knew for a fact we did. We did it very early on.
Yes.
I think it was within the first 10 episodes. I did that when I was still doing solo episodes. But yeah, the fact that we've said it about a handful of matches, but this one was a big one where I was like, the fuck?
Yeah.
And I don't think we've done the triangle ladder match either, so we'll lock that in at some point. But yeah, obviously On Top of the World,
Makes sense.
reference to the
Top end,
title of the
that's why I went
episode
with that
being
one.
at the top. We're trying our best to like be clever without being too on the nose.
Yeah, I've tried to do it.
I think we've got it nicely, but
Yeah.
I think Nova. I think what we do is you do your usual cue. We get the people cheering.
Alrighty. Representing Top End Wrestling, they are Barry and Harry, the Starr Bros!
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am here, as always. I shouldn't say as always, because she's been off a few episodes most recently, but it's just a weird thing the people on interviews say, apparently. I am here with my wife, Nova, and we are here with Barry and Harry Starr, pro wrestlers and also owners of Top End Wrestling, all the way up in the Northern Territory, Nova. This is crazy to think that we're, in what is it, southeast or southwest? I think it's southeast New South Wales.
Yeah.
I know east from
I think
west.
it's like closer to southwest, but yeah.
I came through the Australian public system. I know exactly what I'm talking about. But the fact that these men are currently an hour and a half behind us as we record this due to daylight savings, and they're literally on the other end of the country is astounding. But how are you doing tonight, fellas?
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, we are doing very, very well, thank you. Enjoying the lovely Darwin weather. Yeah.
I can only imagine. Obviously, we're just outside of Wagga, and we're having nights where it's still 30 degrees at like 8 p.m. So like I can't imagine what it's like at the other end, all the way at the top there. Like that's.
So that's pretty much us 24/7, 30 plus.
Oh, mate, no.
You can keep that all to yourself, respectfully.
We drop below like 20, and then people pull out like full winter wear. It's quite entertaining to see some people with their puffer jackets on and everything in weather like this.
So this is this first question is always a very generic question, but we always ask the same question here for first-time guests, just to kind of, I guess, break the ice. A good icebreaker is what I call it, and you guys can kind of choose amongst yourself who answers the questions first and what. But Harry, Barry, quite simply put, what was your earliest professional wrestling memory?
Barry here. I'll take that one because I got Harry into it. I actually, when we used to live in Sydney back in the day, and I had a friend. We went around to his place. I was having a sleepover, and he busted out the old Nintendo, and we started playing an old school game. I can't even remember what game it was. And we started getting into the wrestling. I was like, "Wow, this is really cool." And he goes, "Oh, you like this, do you? You want to watch it?" So he busted out the old VHS, put it on, and it was some Raw from the early Attitude Era. And I thought, wow, what the hell is this stuff? And just from that moment, I was hooked. Just everything about it, yeah, it was just amazing.
I love that the old school Nintendo. That would have been probably was it one of the WWE games, or I guess WWF games then, or was it a WCW game?
I'm pretty sure it was a WWF game back then. I can't.
Like No Mercy?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was.
Because No Mercy on 64 is one of the ones that the wrestling fans like really go on about how good and like it was a good game, but I don't think it was as good as the internet says that it is. But that's neither here nor there. But no, that's one of the ones that constantly comes up from like our generation of people. Yeah. That's kind of cool. So just for context here, because I'm such a good journalist and I tried my best to do my research here, but what's the age gap here between Harry and Barry?
6 years?
Yeah, 6
or 7 years. We're not good at math.
Yeah, I think there's about 6 years between me and my middle brother, and then there's 12 years between the youngest one. So that makes sense. So in that case, Harry, at what point did Barry introduce you to professional wrestling?
I want to say I was like 5 or 6, and he come home after that sleepover he was just talking about, and he was like, "Wait, well, you gotta check this stuff out." And then because we had Foxtel, and then so he then found it on Foxtel and then recorded it for me, and then sneakily we would watch it when my parents weren't home. No.
Yes.
And so he'd be like, wait, all right, we got like an hour. Like we'd come home from school and it's like, all right, we've got like an hour and a half before mum and dad come home from work. Let's watch as much as wrestling as we can. And I just remember like fast forwarding through all the ad breaks and everything just so we could just smash in as much wrestling in that time. And then when the parents come home, it was just all sneakily like put it all away and then pretend we were doing homework.
Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing. So at what point, guys, did you discover that there was wrestling in general outside of WWF and WCW at the time?
Well, it was actually on Foxtel. There was, I think it was Aurora was the channel. It was like a community channel. And then I'm pretty sure it was, I think it was PWA had it on there for a while. And I was just flicking channels and I wound up finding that. And I thought, wow, I didn't realise there was anything like this in Australia. And then started doing a bit of, internet sleuth type stuff and realised that there's many different types and it's all over. It's not just those two big companies. It's everywhere.
Because I remember, I think about, I always get the math and the dates mixed up, but it was any time between 2006 and 2008, so there's an entire 2 years to work it out, but when I found TNA for the first time, and I was just like, holy shit, like, what is this, right? And then that took me to Ring of Honor and all the indies, but it wasn't until 2012-ish, I want to say, that I realised that I'd heard of like AWF and PWA kind of through the loophole, but it wasn't until, about 2012, 2013 that I realised that there was an entire scene of Australian independent wrestling all over, even back then, and now it's blown up astronomically, but like it's just so crazy to think that it's such a silly thing, but like you just wouldn't think that it'd be in Australia because obviously you look at it on TV and it's so heavily Americanized, and you just to think that it's literally, in your own backyard, so to speak, is pretty crazy. But obviously, you said you originally from Sydney, and now you're all the way up in the Northern Territory. But
sort of. We lived in Queensland. We lived in Sydney for about 6 years, and we moved up here.
Okay, well there you go. But what was the deciding factor? Because you seem to have obviously Barry seemed like he was hooked, and then basically just borderline peer pressured his brother into it. Not that I would do anything similar. Absolutely not.
It was a little like making me try and bump moves like back then and all that too. So some people could call me a vet because of how long I've actually been bumping and putting my brother over for.
I always laugh on commentary when I'm doing my, at the start of the show, the whole try this at home, and I would never, and my mum 9 out of 10 times will be front row with my brothers, and they're just pissing themselves laughing, and I'm like, shush, I'm trying to do a public service here.
I'll be serious.
That was a different person.
But was there a deciding factor or moment or anything in particular that made you guys kind of want to take that leap into becoming professional wrestlers and just joining the wrestling business?
I'd actually, before we left Sydney, I'd been doing some research and I'd found that PWA would take people from about 16 at that point. And then unfortunately, we moved up here when I was 15. So I didn't really get a chance to do that. And then it was quite a number of years before pro wrestling started up here in Darwin. And then as soon as I saw the ad on Facebook, I thought, absolutely, I'm going to do this. And I shot the message straight through and I got one straight back. So I think I was actually the first person to message Brad from Pro Wrestling Darwin about the whole wrestling stuff and the whole school and everything else. But I'd always wanted to do it. I was telling people as soon as I found pro wrestling that it's something that I wanted to do. I always wanted to be a wrestler. And now I'm living the dream, doing it, getting to have fun every month. Beat my brother up. It's fun.
Imagine in a world where you could get paid to beat up a sibling.
What a listener.
And I say that because I know that my youngest brother, he'll be almost 19 this year. I didn't realise he's been 18 for almost a year now. I feel old. He kept saying that when he turned 18, he wants to start training, and he's currently just trying to work out the logistics himself at the moment of travelling back and forth, every couple of days of the week sort of thing. But I'm just like, Jesus Christ, the fact that potentially one day I could actually wrestle my brother is a scary thought. But when you guys come in, did you both come in at the exact same time together, or did you, or because Harry was a little bit younger?
No, sort of like I was just like, I was a mechanic at the time, and then like I just had some back problems and all that when it first popped up in Darwin, and I was sort of really hesitant like at the time to like take that leap, just because I was like, just didn't think my body could hold up just because of the back injury and stuff. But then I just one day just decided, I was like, oh, I'm just going to try it, and then there was a couple of looks shot around the room when I like first bumped, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I can do this, and then it's just been a roller coaster ever since.
Yeah, it was sort of 6-ish months between when I started and when I started training, and then we had our first show for Pro Wrestling Down in 2019, and then Harry came down after that. That it wasn't the very first training because we had the ring, we had issues with the ring and other bits and pieces, and then I think it was like the week after. So yeah, it's roughly about 6 months between me starting and then Harry starting training as well.
Okay. I thought it was longer. Okay. It was about 6 months. Yeah.
Okay.
Time flies.
So just before Nova jumps in and asks her first question, before you joined the business, Barry, was there always I'm sure there's probably chats here and there while you're watching of, oh man, I'd love to do this or I could do this, but was the goal to be like a brother tag team, like a Hardy Boys type team, or like was it just that you both wanted to kind of just pursue it, and if you were a tag team, then so be it?
Well, I had always loved the Hardys. Jeff Hardy was one of my idols growing up. So yeah, the whole thing of being the tag team, like I used a couple of Matt Hardy moves now, I do the side effects and a few other bits and pieces. So being a tag team was sort of basically as soon as Harry started training, it was, we're going to do this. Otherwise, Barry Starr was going to be out in his lonesome doing his thing, having a bit of fun. So yeah, the sort of ideally being a tag team would have been, as we sort of have been, it was ideally the way it was going to work out, but if he decided not to jump into starting to train and doing all that, then I just would have done my own thing.
I do like that, though, that you're kind of going, hey, I'm going to do this regardless, but I do really appreciate the fact that you're saying I'd prefer to do it with my brother, because there is a lot of people that, not to get in too political in this business, but there's a lot of people that when you bring up the idea of tag teams, they kind of go, tag team, I want to be a star and this, that, and whatever else, and it's just, no pun intended, because it's Barry Starr, but...
They're already the stars.
Yeah.
That's true stuff.
Like when I first sort of came in, like I was just sort of like, I'm like, oh sweet, like this is like tag team, because we obviously had those conversations as we grew up, like fuck, this would be cool, and then when the opportunity actually presented itself, we were like quite blown away, like holy shit, like we're brothers, we're tag teaming, like this is fucking amazing. And then like as we've sort of done more shows, like because now we're in the like middle of a storyline where we're like feuding against each other. Like it's fun being singles, but I like tag team wrestling is so much more fun for me. Like I just enjoy it so much more than singles wrestling. I just find it so much more fun.
And what about you, Harry? Were you kind of dreaming of teaming with your big brother, or were you just wanting to get in there and kick him in the head?
Well, that's all we're doing at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun both ways, really. I enjoy tagging, but then also I do enjoy getting to finally get the licks in on my older brother after all the years of torment.
So I just wanted to say, hey guys, first off, thank you again for coming on the show. So my first question for you guys is kind of a bit of an obvious one, but also a bit of a loaded one. How did you guys come to starting Top End, and where did the name and logo come from? Basically, just why did you guys decide to take that leap?
Well, with so Brad West was running Pro Wrestling Darwin, and then it was just like sort of just as COVID hit, he then had to some things come up, so he had to move back to Perth, and then basically it was like just because of the COVID era and all that, he just shut down Pro Wrestling Darwin, and then me and Barry were sitting at home one day after like we all got told it, and we were thinking like, shit, like we can't let the dream die. We got to keep rolling on. And then a couple of us spoke about it. Then we purchased the ring off of Brad, and then just there's a couple of us then spoke about different names and everything like that, and we all sort of settled on Top End Wrestling, just because we all liked how it like sounded and rolled off the tongue. And then my tattoo artist is a big wrestling fan. He's based in South Australia, and I just approached him about wanting to do a logo or do a design for us. And then he's just like, oh, well, you're in the Top End. I wanted to sort of keep the same, like pay homage to Pro Wrestling Darwin with the crocodile in the logo. And then he just ran with it and just made what he made.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Because it's like, it's not a traditional wrestling logo, but when you look at it, you can see it as a wrestling T-shirt, if that makes sense. Like, it's such a catch-22, and I love it.
Yeah, I'm actually rocking the Top End Wrestling singlet right now, so
and
it's a great shit.
I will just say, me and myself and some of the guys that I know in Canberra and Sydney and a few other places, we used to love checking out the Pro Wrestling Darwin stuff on YouTube and socials and that. And when COVID hit, we were like, even though we're so far away, that was one of the bigger ones that we were kind of like, oh shit, because like they were just kind of starting to get a bit of head of steam right before COVID hit.
Yeah, the last show was Pro Wrestling Darwin was our first sellout show that we'd had. So we sold 200 tickets at a local venue here called Brownsmart, and it was the first time we'd fully sold out, and then COVID hit and everything went back to square one. Literally proper square one, because we had no idea what we were doing when we took over.
When we were with Pro Wrestling Darwin, we were co-renting a really small space in the back of someone's shed that he had a heap of car parts and like all installation and everything in. So we'd come in and there'd be all like metal shavings and stuff in the ring, and the ring would be filthy and all that. So then he was then wanting to rent that place out, and then we kind of were left in, was it 2021?
Yeah.
Around like end of 2021, the lease was up there. And then we just randomly found a shed that we could afford. That was a lot bigger, and then the landlords were also happy for us to run house shows out of, and then so we've just been doing that ever since.
Okay, so then kind of just fast forwarding a little bit on from that, what was the process of getting the school up and running, and did you face any challenges doing so?
Well, starting the school was sort of a necessity, because when we took over, we were still green. We were greener than grass when we started. We had no idea about it.
I had like one match in front of the crowd. One full match in front of a crowd when we took over the business.
Yeah, I'd had 3 matches and about 12 to 18 months of training, if that. And then, we just thought, COVID hit, we can't really do much with shows and stuff, so we'll just stick with what we know. And so we started school, we started training, and just stuck with that for 12-ish months. And then we're basically just doing school shows in front of friends and family for like $5 a ticket when we first started out, and just to get the guys some more experience in front of a crowd, and especially friends and family crowd, being a little bit more forgiving if you get lost in spots. So the school was just out of necessity, because it was all we knew. We knew how to train. We didn't really know how to book anything. We didn't know how to do shows or anything like that, so we just stuck with what we knew. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was
sorry, you go.
With the training and all that, it was just like, because it was a lot of, at that time it was just a lot of like YouTube was a saving grace for us, and like all socials and all that, just to find like training sequences and things like that, and then we would just spend hours watching it, and then like the next day roll into training and then be like, all right, because me and Barry were living together at the time, so it was just we could spare a lot of time just trying to plan like what we could do, and we would even walk through sequences like in our living room and stuff, just to like, all right, we're going to train this, so we got to like try and get it somewhat decent, so like everybody can like try and get it to look good.
So like a main factor of getting you guys on here was obviously to talk about Top End, not just as a promotion, but also as a school, as we just mentioned. Just touching on like, we had Luke Watts on the show late in the year in 2024, talking about some of the training he did up there with you guys, and he spoke very highly of the school as a whole. What is the process for you in terms of getting guest trainers up that way?
Sometimes we've just lucked out, like Luke coming up, he was up for work and he just reached out. Others, it just happens when we book shows, or if they're on the show, we get the trainers coming up. Like we've had Ricky South come up because he came up for work. He did a seminar with us, or sort of a seminar with us. And then like with Pro Wrestling Darwin, we had David Storm and Damien Slater come up, and they did a couple of things with us as well, which was great.
Probably like the best thing for like us recently was when we got to work the EPW Super Show just before Chamber, and then so we really like the main thing. My goal was just to network with a lot of people then, and then from that process, then a lot of people have then wanted to like reach out and then like, oh hey, like, you know, I'm interested in coming up to work. Would you be interested in me hosting a seminar? And then, like, pretty much anyone that offers that, I'm, like, all for, because we're so, like, inexperienced as a whole. Like, it's always great to just have that extra person come in and just share, like, whatever knowledge it be. Like, some seminars that we've had have been more, like, wrestling-based. Others are more, like, for the character stuff. Others are promo things. So it's just good just to like, whoever just wants to come up and wants to share knowledge, we just open our arms and just let them come in and share whatever knowledge they have.
Okay, so kind of feeding off that question a little bit, are there any particular training schools or trainers that you've taken inspiration from?
Well, we're sort of, how Pro Wrestling Darwin started out, we're pretty heavily tied in with EPW, so we're sort of taking inspiration from them. Yeah.
Well, World Beater Wrestling is a very good subscription.
The internet is a wonderful thing. We've just taken lots and lots of ideas from everyone who puts stuff online.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much, like, obviously doing it physically is always going to be better, but it's crazy how much you can learn just from watching, because I've got some young, well, I don't even want to say rookies, because at this point they've technically got more ring experience than I did, because I've been out of the ring for fucking goodness how long. But I've got so many young guys that'll come to me now and be like, oh, like, you know, I've subscribed to Damien Slater's Patreon, World Beater, that you just mentioned, and like, oh, you know, he touched on this and this and this, and there's so many little things that, it's all nuancy stuff that seem so obvious, but they're that obvious that you wouldn't think about, and then Damien Slater will go, well, hey, what if this, this, and this? And I've had so many young guys go, holy shit, like, did you think of this, or did you know this? And it's so awesome to think that we've got all that literally at our fingertips. It is absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah, absolutely. We're in a blessed era with the internet. It's you know, trying to learn stuff back in the day before the internet would have been hard as hell. And now we can, World Beater Wrestling's fantastic for it. And,
like, even like just moments of like trying to like when we're trying to sort of explain something to somebody, and then like, you know, the way that like I explain it might be different to the way Barry explains it, and then like then you know you got say like Slater for instance, you could just then he's explained it another way, and then you explain it that way, then the person has that light bulb moment that's just like, oh, holy shit. Like, I get exactly what you mean now, and then it's just great to have all the extra things and the different ways to go about things, because some people they learn differently too, and that's one of the harder things that we've sort of had to like crash course in learning, of just sort of like not everyone gets it the same way, and gets it as quickly, and then everything like that.
Hell yeah. So kind of, again, just kind of bouncing off of that, especially now, I didn't realise you guys were, I hate using the term green, but for lack of a better term, considering you guys were so green in the business when you managed to take over, what's been some of the biggest challenges for you in terms of, obviously you have a school, so you're going to have people kind of come in and out. Some people will try it, maybe it's not for them, but what's been the biggest challenges for you when a new talent or trainee has come in as opposed to someone that has been around for a bit?
Trying to get them to unlearn bad habits that they've learned. Like obviously, a lot of our guys had never wrestled at all before coming in, but just bad habits of things that they've picked up in their life, or trying to get people to learn how to roll. Because some of our trainees we have had have unfortunately have struggled even just doing the roll. Some have struggled and then picked it up immediately, had a light bulb moment, and just ticked off from there and became awesome. But yeah, it's and like Harry said before, the thing of trying to us learn how to teach people so that they learn properly is probably the hardest part of some of it, because not everyone learns the same, which is it's a hard one.
And then also just like people like as well coming in, and then like I guess like it just, you hear the story so often of people coming in and then being like, oh, this is going to be so easy, and then we're like, all right, and then you just start to do something like it's, you know, like if you've done it before, it's fairly easy, then everybody's just completely gassed or blown out, and they're like what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Like, yeah, no. And also I guess the problem being also too the heat we have up here as well, kind of, it makes or breaks a lot of people.
It is oppressive, especially this time of year. It is oppressive heat. The humidity, the heat, it's just,
the breathing in soup.
See, I didn't even think about that. That's such an obvious, again, such an obvious thing, but yeah, fuck, the humidity would be a bitch. But I always love when people kind of come in and, you know, they pick up the basics and it's great, and they, you know, they do the rolls and everything, and then they hit the ropes for the first time, and that's always, to me, when you hit the ropes for the first time, that's the telling reaction. Like, forget taking your first bump. Like, before you even get to that, hit the ropes and just see how they react. The amount of people that go, da-da-da-da, I'm just going to spring off, and then they realise that it's like a punch in the fucking kidney, and they're like, oh, okay.
They stop and like look at the rope and shake it and see what's going on. Like, what the hell? Like, yep, that's what that is.
My favourite thing was Tough Enough when they were all trying to do it, and then they're just like, ouch. And I'm like, yeah.
Look, as cheesy as that got towards the end with the reality TV, that is a good, like, for someone that wants to get into the business, that's a good start. Like, look at this shit. This shit hurts.
There was someone vomiting and everything, and I'm like, yep.
But
it's sort of a rite of passage for most of our guys to have a spew at some point while we're training.
Yeah, we've all done it.
Yeah. If someone hasn't done it and they wind up spewing for us, we play Queen, another one bites it up, because someone has finally joined the group.
Give them a round of applause.
Everyone's done it now.
I love that so much. The next question, you actually kind of fed on that in your answer to the first part of that. So the next question was actually, are there any bad habits specifically that you guys actively have to stamp out, or just on, you know, kind of on your no-no list as a rite of passage?
Footwork.
Yeah, footwork. Footwork's a big one.
Footwork in a side headlock.
Yeah.
From a walk-up.
Yeah. I'm not going to mention names.
Yeah, footwork's a big one. People learning footwork out of other things and then trying to bring it back into wrestling, or rope running. Like, you know, starting out the wrong foot, then mixing up and taking pitter-patter steps. And yeah, footwork's the hard one to try and beat out of people, but lots of training effectively, it happens in the end.
Because, like, for me, like, I know that, like, you know, I don't put much stock in myself. I was never a great wrestler. I was a great entertainer. However, people come in and they think because they've done gymnastics, they're going to have an advantage. And now, in some cases, it does work. But yeah, like, they come in and they just do all these little things because they've done it elsewhere. And then you've kind of got to be like, no, just do this. And they're like, but we were taught this. I'm like, yeah, but you were taught that's not this. This is a different
Yeah.
thing.
Different kettle of fish.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. It's the hard part trying to do it.
That's not what we're doing here.
There's quite a few like that actually come in and say that. Oh, yeah, but I was taught. Okay, you were taught that for whatever you were doing before. Professional wrestling is completely different. Just forget everything you know.
Another bad habit too that we've had is just people with like punches just absolutely fucking blasting us.
Well, potatoes.
Like no, not even like like when like the work punch miss you a heap. It's just all force, just bang straight in your face, and it's like, oh for fuck's sake, not again. Yeah.
You go to your day job and rock up with the black eye and be like, well, how did that happen? You're like, well,
I'm a government I'm a government worker. Like I'm a transport inspector.
That's so funny.
There was one day where it was a Geek Fest show that we worked it was in 2021, and I got misted by Erica Reed. So I was like blue like a Smurf, and then I got kicked in the forehead, so I had an imprint of the dude's boot on my forehead. And then I walked into work on Monday, and then because I couldn't get some of the mist out of my beard and that, and then so I just had this tinge of blue. And my boss just looked at me and he's like, "You can't go and see people like that." And I was like, "Well, who else do we got?"
Brody shows up to work looking like the blue meanie.
Yeah.
I love that.
The boss hasn't been happy at the state of me sometimes when I walk in after working.
Yeah.
I remember even just walking in for a shift at the pub when I was living in Canberra and had a limp. My boss is like, "What did you do? Did you get in a fight?" And I'm like, "Well, kind of, sort of. Tweaked my knee landing coming off the top rope. It's fine." And then he's having a business meeting, and they're just like, "Oh, wrestling, that's interesting." My boss is just fucking muttering under his breath, and I'm just like, "Sorry."
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate Mondays after shows. Mondays after shows are the worst. Roll in, you leave, everything hurts. Everything's come back to normal.
The brother walk.
Yeah, you got the brother walk. Sucks. It sucks. At least my work, I'm a pool boy. And my work fully understands that. They see me walk in after a show and like, "Oh, again, your brother beat you up, did he?" "Yep, he certainly did." Yeah.
So now this is kind of the part of the show where we start to mark out a little bit. So what is your favourite match of all time, both that you've had personally and that you've seen?
Or a handful. I know that's a loaded question.
Yes. And with seen too, you can either go TV or you can go live or you can go both for that as well.
First ever TLC. My favourite match. I absolutely.
Yes.
That was amazing. Just watching everything those boys did was just fucking amazing.
I reckon that's the same for me too, just because that was one of my first more memories of wrestling too. One of the first most chaotic thing I've ever seen.
That entire trilogy literally defined a fucking generation. To go from the triangle ladder match to where they were using the tables and ladders and chairs to evolve to actually having tables, ladders and chairs, and then basically climaxing with TLC 2 at Mania 17.
There's so many wrestlers that we've talked to that have gone, "That's my defining moment."
Literally, that Edge spearing Jeff Hardy spot into the match after, at Mania. That moment literally made me go, I kind of want to do that, which is fucking crazy to think about, but these guys said they love the Hardy, so they'll get me. It's such a stupid thing, and I'd probably never fall from that height exactly, but you just look at the spectacle of all the camera flashes and you're just hold up a minute.
That was
just the visual of everybody standing up when everything's happening, all the crowd and everything. So good. Another one also favourite is the fucking just because of the carnage in it, the Mankind Undertaker Hell in a Cell.
Dude,
just because,
yes,
in that case,
yeah.
But then I know, working wise, I know I've had a couple of good ones, once Barry turned his back on me, like went on a singles run. I had a couple of like really fun matches in that run against did a street fight with Joel Bateman. That was a lot of fun.
Hey.
Were Gino Gambino, Sid Parker, and then that's it. And tagged with Kyle and Knight.
Yeah,
as well.
Colin.
Not to cut you off, I'm so sorry, but even as you're listing these favourite matches of yours, the talent that you're listing that are in these matches is a testament to the talent that you guys bring up to Top End.
Yeah, it is insane.
Yeah, I gotta, like, Barry said it earlier about pinching himself. I just gotta sit down sometimes and, like, be like, what the fuck are we even doing? Like, this is fucking amazing just because of, like all the different talent that we constantly, get reached out to a fair bit of people that want to come and work. So it's fucking incredible that the talent pool that we can reach into in Australia is fucking phenomenal.
It's fucking crazy. One of my favourite matches I did, I wrestled Erica Reid. I've wrestled her twice now. She's amazing. I love wrestling her. It's so much fun. But we did the EPW Super Show Rumble, and just that was amazing. Just in front, because we were in front of 10 times the amount of people we'd normally get at our shows. It was fucking amazing walking out. As soon as the music hit, walking out, just looking around, seeing all the people. It was cool, lad. And then having a talent in there as well, because I was one of the first 4 in that match. Then had a bit of time by myself before old Harry came to save me.
Little brother can save the day. And then just get completely destroyed by Tommy Knight.
Yeah, Tommy Knight beat the shit out of
thrown out the ring.
We love Tommy here at CIC Pod. G-Plug, go listen to his episode.
we love him. We loved everyone we met.
Yeah.
Down at the Super Show. It was so good.
So who is your ultimate dream opponent, and what is your dream stipulation for you both?
Dream tag team opponent would be Hardy Boys.
Yes.
Oh, that would be amazing. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if it was going to be if it's the Hardys, it'd have to be like a ladder or a sea match.
So I've got to take a crouton. I would take one, for sure. Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. The Hardys in a ladder match would be cool, lads.
That'd be pretty sick. What, if you guys had to go single, though, and not go tag, who would you pick to throw you off a little bit?
It's a good question.
I love stumping people. That's my job.
I think in singles, who would I?
Oh no, I'd say just because of being one of my growing up, one of my favourite wrestlers, Undertaker would be fucking awesome. Undertaker would fucking destroy me, but big old size difference, but little man, let's go.
What stipulation would you go though?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. If Undertaker Burns just kill the character, or just do the buried alive match, and then Harry can just come back reincarnated as something else.
Yeah, I'd have to say probably Stone Cold for me. As a young lad, I love The Rock. I love Stone Cold. As the stick for Stone Cold, a beer on a pole match.
That's so Australian.
We love our Vince Russo-esque stipulations here on CIC Pod.
Love it.
Especially Nova, good God.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
Beer on a pole, let's go.
Do Markapalooza stuff and I just Vince Russo everything.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Never make me a booker. I just go ham.
Noted.
Yeah.
So, kind of a bit of a bonus question, kind of stemming off the last one. Who would your dream trainer be for you guys to get for the school? Both an ultimate dream and a realistic dream.
Hmm. Look, Triple H, unrealistic. Him to come into the school and train us up, that'd be amazing. Realistic? I don't know.
Like annual. Like it is somewhat realistic that we probably could get someone from Japan.
Yeah, or
Definitely.
The moment he said Japan, my brain just went to Robbie Eagles. That was my thought.
Yeah, I was thinking Robbie or Hartley, if Hartley came back home.
Oh, dude, Hartley Jackson.
Yeah.
What a man. What a man.
Good trainer.
Yeah, Robbie's definitely high on our list. There has been some discussions with him. It's just then his February got fairly booked out after Wrestle Kingdom.
It's almost like a little scoop here for CIC.
Hey.
But we like Robbie Eagles is definitely on our list to come up and do some training with us. Like I'm really looking forward to having Hayden Zenith come up and because he's going to do some training when he's up here as well.
Oh, nice.
So because we just we announced our next show yesterday.
Yes.
So we've got Hayden from Perth coming up, so that should be fun. So
it'd be a lot of fun.
I don't even know about another trainer though.
Yeah,
Robbie Eagles probably is definitely the realistic one.
And just before I get into the last question, we will talk about this in the actual plugs, but just for those playing at home, that is April 26th, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
yes,
see, I did my research. I tried.
Hey. We're professional somewhat.
Before we go in...
50% tickets already?
Yeah, a little bit over 50%, I think.
Wow, okay.
That's
solid. Awesome.
Yeah. So our crowd's pretty good. So small shows, so they do sell really quickly because there's a lot of people that are talking about seeing it, and then when they put through their like Snapchat stories and that stuff, and they see the shows, they're like, oh wait, that's in Darwin. So we're building a nice little following.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of the old like PWG logic, right? Where you put 100 to 150 people in a room. If you can consistently fill that room, you know, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. That's exactly what we've been doing.
So we like at the end of like every show, just because they're so small, we pull the curtain back a little bit and do like a sort of like a curtain call, just endear the small crowd that we have. And like they always eat it up and they keep coming back. It's just a small little thing that we do. Like I know some people may not necessarily like just pulling back the curtain like immediately after a show, but since it's so small and like it's such a new thing in Darwin, it's just a thing that we all like to do just to like basically just show everybody like we're building the community and everything.
See, we kind of do that with our charity shows. We just kind of go, look, kayfabe side, heels one faces, baby face on the other, but we're addressing the crowd and thanking the crowd because especially when you got again for us, small little country town, you cram 100 plus into a little building.
Yeah,
exactly right. Yeah, they're spending their hard earned to come see us do our thing. It's just a last little thing we can do. Just thank them for coming along. Make them feel welcome, make them feel appreciated for everything that they're doing for us, as well as what we're doing.
Without them coming to shows, we wouldn't be able to bring in the talent that we've been able to bring, and then in turn, then get the wrestling better to like where we're all happy with putting it out and wrestling in front of people and all that.
Hell yeah. Now, the last question we always do is a non-wrestling question. I've actually got a two-part one for this one just because I couldn't decide. I try our best to tailor it to the individual that we're talking to at the time. Obviously, in this case, it's individuals. And I felt like just having a bit of banter here because as someone with two younger brothers and an older sister, there's always lots and lots of banter with the siblings, and obviously I've been following along with the storyline that you've been having. Again, not to pull the curtain back too much, but been following along with the journey and the story you guys have been telling through socials, and even just through the bits and there pieces that I've seen there from a couple of social clips. I've been enjoying it, but I'll let Harry answer this first. I'll let the younger brother take the wheel for this one. What is the most annoying thing about your brother?
Thinking about it because I'm within punching distance.
Well, yeah. Let's see. I don't even know where to start, actually. Yeah, let me just go get the list, and I'll keep adding stuff to it every day.
Mr. Jericho that just keeps rolling on.
The list of Harry. I don't even know how to answer that, really, because there's a couple of different things, really. I guess it's just being like just being the older brother and fucking just doing everything first, really. That's probably the biggest thing. It's like, motherfucker, you've done everything first. Now it's my turn. My turn in the sun.
Oh, fair enough. What about you, Barry?
The fact that he's got to do everything that I do.
I do things better.
Yeah, right.
See, it's the same. It's basically the same. We said the same thing, really.
Yeah. See, I feel like as an older brother, I can confidently say I was just a prototype. There was lots of room for improvement.
Well, look, I keep saying that I was the perfection, and Mum and Dad kept trying to have someone who matched up to me, and then eventually they stopped because I am the oldest. I'm the oldest of the siblings.
Yeah, but then like they had three. They had you, then they had the other brother Jesse, then me. And then they had the daughter, and then they stopped. Yeah. And then the daughter and then Sophie got all the love.
Well, they realised they couldn't match me, so...
Really? We both just paid our stuff.
Yeah.
Just kidding, we love you, Sophie.
Now, on the flip side of that, though, this does kind of tie into wrestling in a way, but what has been the favourite thing about working with your brother while running working with / running a business with your brother? What are words by the T-shirt? Jesus Christ.
I guess it's more like it's like for me it was like growing up with Barry, like really like showing me all the wrestling and everything, and it's just and all the conversations about like, oh fuck, that'd be so cool if we could do that, but then also like when we moved to Darwin, it not being here and everything like that, and then now it's just like looking back at everything and all the conversations is just fucking cool that we spoke about it, thinking that we could never do it, and now that we're not alone, like we're not just actually wrestling, we're running a promotion that people want to come to and keep coming to and watching. Like it's just blows my mind every fucking day and it's just fucking awesome that I get to do it with my brother.
Yeah, and I'll say exactly the same. Getting to run a promotion with my brother, getting to wrestle with my brother, pushing each other athletically. That, if I can do something, he wants to try it. If he can do something, I want to try it, and we won't give up until we hit it. So we're pushing each other, constantly evolving, just having that. The sibling rivalry, basically, in that is the best part because we do continue to push each other. But yeah, like running the whole thing.
Because we don't want the other one to be better than.
No, we can't have one up each
uh,
other.
with that being said, guys, where can we find yourselves and Top End on socials? Do you have any merchandise? What are your upcoming dates aside from April 26th? And yeah, just the floor is yours to basically just plug yourselves, plug the school most importantly as well. How can people find the school if they want to travel all the way up there and have a go?
We're Top End Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram. If anyone wants to do the school, send us a message on Facebook or Instagram. Both Harry and myself will answer it. We also have topendwrestling@gmail.com if people don't have the socials, if they just want to reach out via email. Our upcoming dates, we've got May 17 is Harry's birthday bash.
Nice.
Then We got June 21st, July 26th, and then August 30th, and then just penciling in a couple of other dates for September, October, and December.
I love how organised you guys are of just rattling off, hey, here's the entire first quarter of the year. That's the shit that I love to hear.
That's awesome.
Oh, we were kind of like last year, we flew by the seat of our pants, really. And we were just sort of like end of month, let's go. But like we do the big run in the middle of the year being like the dry season, so it's the cooler time of year. So it's a lot more pleasant. I find it's a lot more appealing for people to want to come up to as well, because it's a lot nicer to work in as well, because where the shed where we're doing the shows at the moment can get quite warm.
We've got no air conditioning. We've got fans, like wall fans and stuff going, but there's no air conditioning in the dojo.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do a couple of shows in the wet, but yeah, the dry season, sort of May, June, July, August, September. The humidity, there's bugger all humidity. It's still fucking hot, but it's a lot nicer because it's a bit easier to breathe. But yeah, this is the first time we've actually decided to book, or roughly book, 12 months of shows to get things in.
I had a couple of people reach out that wanted sort of dates towards the end of the year, mid-year anyway. So I thought, like, well, we've got to line up the dates if I want to get the people to work. So that sort of made me pull my finger out, and me and Barry spoke a little bit to work out exactly what dates we sort of wanted. And we always are sort of running shows that like to run shows like last weekend of every month. That's sort of just our recipe. But yeah, so that's just how we did it last year. Was like, all right, this show, all right, so we've done this date, all right, let's do this date and this date, and it was really chaotic way of booking and trying to get people to come up, which was amazing. We were able to get the people we were, just considering how we were not really booking long term in that aspect. It was just like, all right, this one now, who's next, and then just going that way.
Absolutely. And do Harry and Barry Starr have social media that they'd like to plug?
Harry is the.Harry Starr on Instagram. I just have Instagram. I only have limited merch available, but that's mainly just on shows. I don't have a pro wrestling tee or a worker site like that at the moment for any merch.
Nah. Barry is the Barry Starr on Insta and Barry Starr on Facebook. I do have a personal as well as a worker page on Bookface. It's only because I set up the wrong way first up, and then I did the page. I've got a couple of bits and pieces of merch, but not a great deal. I've got a shirt and stickers at the moment. I'm just working on a few other bits and pieces to get Barry some more stuff. And then we also have the Starr Brothers on Facebook. There is a Starr Brothers page on Facebook that we got. It's been a bit dormant for the last 12 months or so.
Rightfully so, I guess.
Yeah.
I shall try to remember to link all of that stuff. Before we go into one last minute plug of the upcoming show at the end of this month, do you guys have any interstate bookings coming up at all?
No, we don't have any. Nah, we just mainly have work makes it really difficult for me to be able to travel. So I just try and take the opportunity to try and get people to come in that I potentially either want to work or can just train. A couple of our boys are going to do the EPW camp that's in July or July, I can't remember what date. So got two of them going that way.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult for me to travel interstate at the moment because at the middle of December I just had my first child.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so
Barry's a daddy.
Yeah, so it's a bit difficult to travel at the moment. But hoping to get something next year once everything sort of settles down and we sort of, me and my partner get into the sort of routine of everything. Yeah, I think we are. I don't know. There's was talk of us going to Adelaide at some point, but I don't know when the hell that's going to happen. But I'll see what happens.
Yeah, nothing on the horizon yet. But yeah, we're just
nothing's booked.
Just trying to. My main focus is just trying to build top end wrestling and just try to get people in here to help us build a good foundation.
Absolutely. Well, with that being said, April 26th is the next show. Did you want to just give a kind of just a quick cheeky little plug of what people can expect if they do buy a ticket for that?
You're gonna see Barry and Harry potentially.
Barry or Harry's not going to be as pleasant sitting next to Barry on April 26th because the last time we were in the ring, Barry faked a knee injury and I thought he was hurt, so I jumped off the ring and then he kicked me in the balls and then pile drive me to beat me.
I kicked him in the dick and dropped him on his head like he deserved.
So Harry's going to get him back for that show and make sure that Harry's Birthday Bash 3 is a good birthday because every time Harry's Birthday Bash happens, it's not a good birthday.
It's going to be Harry's birthday bashing. That's what Harry's Birthday Bash is if he gets through April 26th.
But then also we have Hayden Zenith coming up too, so he's going for the EPW strap this weekend or next weekend. So
yeah.
Oh, he could bring some hardware.
The EPW champion coming up to Darwin. So if people want to come and see one of Australia's one of Australia's premier wrestlers, they should come down to 3 Mackenzie Place, Yarrawonga. 3/1. I always fuck that up.
Yeah,
we've been there so long. God damn.
Unit 3, number 1, Mackenzie Place, Yarrawonga.
That's why no one can ever get to the place when I give them the address because I'm a dumber.
I just say where it is, across the road from BTS. Everyone knows. True.
Do you have anything that you'd like to, any bonus questions, Nova?
No, I
see
think I've
the
covered
brain
them.
kind of ticking a
I
little
think
bit
I've covered them, yeah.
Yeah, you're good? Okay. Well, with that being said, I'd appreciate you guys coming. Now I've just got my ADHD ass. He said Yarrawonga, so now I've just got Slim Dusty stuck in my head. That's just my ADHD brain. But thank you guys so much for coming on, and I'm glad we could finally tee this up. It's been a bit of a busy time for everyone, and obviously Harry saying that he's now dad now, that's explains why it's been even more busy on top of that. But no, we appreciate you guys coming on, and honestly, like, it sounds like your 2025 is going to be pretty freaking hectic, and I can't wait to see it unfold even just through socials, to be honest.
Yeah, I actually think that the day that you first reached out was the day that baby was born. Actually,
I think it was pretty close
because when I went to the hospital to visit. It was, oi, did you see that message that we got on Instagram? And I was like, oh, yes, we need to talk about this. Yes. And then he just...
I got a little bit distracted.
Absolutely no hard feelings there at all.
Absolutely
totally
no.
No, but no, I appreciate you guys coming on. And I say this to every guest that we have on, but I genuinely, like, I'm not blowing smoke. I just love professional wrestling. Like, wherever, it doesn't matter... You know, what state, what country, wrestling's wrestling, and I want to absorb all of it. And I just wish you guys the absolute best of luck for 2025. And
thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. It's been a great chat.
Thank you very much, guys. You have a great night.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
See you, bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Barry and Harry, the Starr Bros. Nova does it so much better than I do.
Try.
It's really hard with these pod mics, though, to, like, not be too loud.
Yeah, and I get a bit excited, and I'm like, ah! And yell really loud.
She's just auditioning to be the new top end wrestling ring announcer.
It's a bit of a track, but I mean, I could do it.
Once she's healthy at the end of the year. 2026, let's go. No, but I again, like, cracked record over here. Cracked record, Crossfire, but... Just thanks to the guys coming on. Like, I had so much fucking fun in this conversation and just shooting the shit and just sitting back and just relaxing and just enjoying professional wrestling for what it is. And again, like, just the fact that, you know, these guys have, it's going to sound really backhanded, and I want to preface this by saying it's not backhanded, but the fact that they've essentially made something from nothing is...
Well, to me, you know how I would word it? Is it's fucking inspirational, man. Like, it's just so awesome. Like, they've come from doing, like, even they said, I think Harry said he'd done one show in front of a live crowd.
And Barry had only
done about three official matches. And I was just like, dude, that is so cool. And now you're running a business, like a wrestling business. It's just so cool to see.
They got thrown into the deep end at Top End.
Yeah, for real. And look at him thriving. It's awesome.
But
I love to see it.
Genuinely, I was really... When Pro Wrestling Darwin closed their doors during COVID... There was a few of us. There was myself, Nick Maltino, Jackson
we had a chat with Maltino and everyone's like...
We were genuinely
I want to get booked up there. Like, this sucks.
I was like... obviously at the time I was still just working. It was like just before I, had the health issues and whatever. And I was like, man, I'm just a fucking nobody. They'd probably never book me, but we were like, man, would be cool to go up there. That was like Pro Wrestling Darwin was a lot of our bucket lists.
Yeah.
And obviously, Nick Maltino's got, a family and everything now, so that's probably well out of the question. But
that title. Yes, with the brown strap and like the crocodile. Oh, such a nice title. Anyway.
Yeah, much better than another one that's brown strap with a crocodile in Australia. But let's not get political on this episode.
No, let's change the subject.
But no, I appreciate these guys coming on. All of their links are there. The big one is, for me personally, obviously, as they said, you can do Facebook and Instagram. But if you're really serious about trying to get booked or get training at the school, for me, that topendwrestling@gmail.com, attach your wrestling.
Their marketing's on point.
Email and everything else.
When I was doing research for them for the episode, they actually were at the front of a Coles and had it all set up real professional, like handing pamphlets and stuff out to people. Like, that is so cool.
Yeah, and I like
it's just awesome.
So many people just think if they put a picture up on the internet, it works. Alternatively, a lot of people don't even use the internet and they think flyers. They've got a perfect balance of both.
They said too, with their plugs, with social media. Some people don't have social media, so they've made sure to let people know about their email as well.
Yeah, 100%.
No. They're on the money here.
Yeah, without, I'm not a professional, but without, going on a rant, I'd say if you're interested, chuck them an email and,
the amount of talent they've already had up there and like talent they've had for training, it's just awesome.
Talent that may have been potentially just teased in this conversation.
Exactly.
If that
crazy.
happens, I may have awesome. A moment myself and fanboy and mark out, but that's all right. But no, like these guys, and it's something we talk about here ourselves, and I don't want to use this to just outwardly plug our shit and what obviously we're not running it, but we've got a hand in it with ICW Central West and the Emma Butler Memorial shows. Obviously on the poster, I've put homegrown Cowra talent, and when we did the social media posts, it was homegrown grassroots wrestling. This is as grassroots get. They even joked about it themselves. They're kind of up there, the middle of bumfuck nowhere, scorching heat. And they're managing to get people trained up to be competent professional wrestlers. And not just competent professional wrestlers, fucking great professional wrestlers.
Yes.
With, minimal resources compared to a lot of other cities who could and probably should be doing better. But again, I'm not taking shots at anyone. I'm not mentioning names. Like, it's completely open for interpretation. But the wrestling business in general, so many people in big cities have all of these tools at their disposal and they don't use it. And the fact that they're up in, Yarrawonga-ish, Northern Territory, and they're grinding, they're hustling, they're doing their thing. Not to just basically repeat what you just said, Nova, but that is inspiring as fuck.
Yeah.
It truly, truly is. But yeah, all of their information is there. Of course, their show coming up on April 26th, Saturday Night Fights. I believe it's number 15, but it's called Top End Wrestling High and Dry is the official title for this show. The tickets will be below that. At the time of recording, they're about halfway sold out already, so that's fucking awesome. Like, imagine if by the time this goes out at the end of the week, that they're sold out. That would be awesome.
That'd be so cool.
But yeah, go check out that. Of course, our links are there, the socials, the podcast, da-da-da-da. Please go follow the Facebook page. Once we get to 500 followers, we are doing the giveaway of the signed Edge plaque and the piece of the SmackDown ring and all that jazz. Obviously, you know, my socials, your socials, the podcast socials are important, but I also do want to mention Nova Lee. I kind of touched on it a little bit in the intro about my Twitch, but I did just finally make Twitch affiliate. I'm sitting at 120 followers as I record this, so still nowhere near the likes of Giant Coyote, who's well into the 5K. But I'm hustling, I'm grinding. I've ticked off a bucket list goal. It's very fucking hard gaming at times with my eyesight, but I say it all the time, and it's not even an exaggeration. It's either that or stare at the fucking ceiling, and I know which one I'd prefer. But yeah, I've just hit affiliate there. Patreon is obviously there. Get early access for most of these episodes, usually at least 2 days beforehand, but recently they've been about a week or so. As low as Nova Lee.
$5 dues.
$5 Australian will get you the Rogue tier. Tier 2 is the Essential tier. $6 US, $10 Australian. That gives you immediate access to my first ever digital children's book. It is the first of 3 in a little mini-series, and then once I do that, I do have an idea for a full-length children's book, thanks to Samuel Beaton, who gave me the idea, and I was like, I'm going to steal that legitimately, and I'm going to credit him in the book, much like I did with the Alphabet SmackDown ones. But yeah, the digital one's there. I keep saying it every time. The audiobook is coming. Just bear with me. But it's on Patreon. Eventually, once I get all 3 out, they'll be on Amazon and everything. But it's all neither here nor there. But yeah, of course, as I said, April 26th, Top End Wrestling. That's what we're mainly here to promote. MXW Let 'Em Cook is May... I think it's May 31st. I really should have checked this.
Let me double check,
I've still
because
got
they
May
did have
3rd
to.
in my thing, but that's the day we're all voting
Yes.
now. I believe it's Saturday, May 31st at Geelong for MXW Let Them Cook. It'll be in the description anyway with the tickets and the information and yada, yada, yada. June long weekend, ICW has Tag Warfare on June 7th. Obviously, the current champions are my young proteges in Rogue, so they're in the tournament. The second team has just been announced with Super Crimson Mask and Wrath as the wrestlers of mass destruction.
Sorry to interrupt your flow there. Saturday, May 31st.
It is Saturday, May 31st. I got that right.
Sorry.
I got it right.
I just had to check.
Good.
I'm sorry, I'm not doubting you, but yeah.
How good.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
And then the big one. Forget November 1st. Scratch it. Erase it. Take it away. October 11th. Date change. Emma Butler Memorial Show. I'm going to harp on this for the next few weeks because it's important that y'all know that the date has been changed. So that way, if you have bought a ticket, you can either A, change your accommodation / travel details, or B, if necessary, get that refund. But October 11th, 20 days, or so 10 days. What is maths? Well, maybe I need a new t-shirt. Forget what are words. What is math? 10 days before my 31st birthday, and I didn't actually get to have a 30th because of health reasons. So maybe, I know not to steal Harry's thunder with Harry's birthday bash coming up in May as well for Top End, but maybe the Emma Butler Memorial Show can be Crossfire's birthday bash, and we can have a good time and just wrestle and raise money. And because I know what I want for my birthday, that's to save more lives, but that's just me. But come along, have a good night, but yeah, just definitely go check out Top End, and definitely, if you're not able to travel all the way up there, which I'm sure they fully understand, definitely just go chuck them a like on the socials and follow, and
yeah, keep along, watching their content.
And I know that they said that their merch was mainly just at shows, but maybe, just maybe, if you hit them up and you could work out some posters and that, because I know that Top End, and the fact that they've revealed now that it was drawn up, was created by a tattoo artist, explains even more now why I really love it, because I love my tattoos, and wrestling go together. But I want one of those Top End Wrestling shirts.
I was going to say that. I was like, when I get my money in check, dude, we need to hit them up and see if we can get one posted to us.
Let's discuss.
Yeah, let's get some merch, man.
Discuss some postage funds off here. Yeah. But yeah, check all the links. Check everything. It's all there. Nova Lee, song match of the week. Let's get out of here. I don't want to rant too much longer.
Alrighty. So again, the song of the week for episode 159, again, was On Top of the World by Imagine Dragons. And the match was the Hardys versus the Dudleys versus Edge and Christian at TLC 1 SummerSlam 2000.
That's a fucking mouthful, isn't it?
It was. I was like, I'm going to butcher this, but I was like, take a deep breath. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Just gotta...
Wrestling.
Just gotta get into
Okay.
it. But no, again, for the 1010th time, Nova will probably make it 1011th. Thank you, Harry and Barry. Thank you, Top End Wrestling.
Thank you, Harry and Barry. Thank you, Top End Wrestling. Hey!
I am the essential John L. Crossfire.
And I am Nova Lee.
And you guys were just caught.
In conversation, shakalaka titty sprinkles.
And there is actually a Titty Sprinkles emote on my Twitch channel.